And what's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of that Dynamite review show. I'm your host, Trico. With me is my co-host with the most, Leland. What's up, bro?
What is good, Trico? How you doing?
Well, recovering from Mania week.
Yeah, that was a long week. Yo, Mania wasn't half bad. I watched night one. I didn't really watch night two. I just caught the highlights of night two. But it wasn't that bad, man. Great nostalgia seeing Stone Cold wrestle and everything.
Oh yeah, everything. But before we get into this Dynamite review, let's talk about how Tony Khan did on his first pay-per-view with now only our Ring of Honor and of course the Supercard show. And I think that was definitely a great show. And for those of y'all who bought it on Fight TV, everything, you got your $30 worth for it. And well, let's go over the results real quick. And so Brian Cage made his the debut in Ring of Honor with Tony Blanchard as his the new manager. So I'm kind of interested to see how that partnership will go. Wheeler Yuta living his best life right now after having his match with Bryan Danielson, and I know he's going to have a match with John Moxley coming up soon, which is this Friday on Rampage. But he is the new ROH Purse champion, and we have a new interim women's or ROH champion in Mercedes Martinez. So we just had to wait and see when the undisputed title match between her and Deonna Purrazzo is going to happen. Gresham is still the world champion, but he got a little run in with Jay Lethal with his heel turn, and then of course Samoa Joe coming in, not only returning to ROH but now being All Elite in AEW as well. And then of course the match of the night, which is possibly going to be my top 10 and top 5 best wrestling matches of this year. It's definitely going to be on my list. That is the Briscoes versus FTR for the ROH World Tag Team Championships, which led to this week's Dynamite main event between FTR and the Young Bucks, where they will meet for the second time. And that is winner take all, not only for the ROH World Tag Team titles, but the AAA World Tag Team titles. We'll get to that in a second. But I want to get your thoughts on our ROH Supercard of Honor and TK's first promotion under ROH.
Yo, honestly, like watching Supercard, it gave me a lot of like ROH nostalgia. Like when I had got out of wrestling for a very long time, and like around 2014, I seen a Young Bucks match in ROH, and that kind of relit that passion. And at the time I started watching like Kevin Steen and El Generico and Michael Elgin and all those guys that was in there at the time, and Jay Lethal, and I really got hooked to ROH, and I was like, wow, man, this is like the future of wrestling. This is what wrestling is now. And then I started to watch Kevin Owens and all these guys go over to NXT, and that's what got me back into WWE. And then WWE had me and then lost me. But the thing that sparked my love for professional wrestling was ROH. So it was good to see ROH getting this Tony Khan treatment with the way he books his matches and the way he likes his matches, but he still had that ROH feel to it. I will say this, I think they need to do like a new branding. I think the ROH logo needs to be revamped. Everything needs to feel new, because I am feeling like I'm watching just a 20-year-old product sometimes with their logo and everything. But as far as the show was great. All the matches were really good matches, and it was exactly what you wanted, a really good wrestling show.
Yeah, absolutely. So and speaking of moving forward, and if they're gonna do another pay-per-view, I would say do another pay-per-view like the day before, like Double or Nothing or All Out or Full Gear. So that's
how like WWE does like NXT kind of shows. Like right before their big show, they might have an NXT pay-per-view.
Yeah, well, NXT 1.0. Yeah, to be exact. Yeah, because even though ROH is still like a major brand, but I feel like it still could be like a detrimental towards AEW going into Dynamite or Rampage.
Definitely, I feel like this last show made ROH much more relevant again, because now it feels like a contender to be that third spot. You know, I think right now Impact has like that third spot as far as like a major wrestling company, but I think with this last show, ROH can take that spot from them.
Yeah, most definitely. So I can't wait to see how that progress, because we are expecting to get a lot of ROH wrestlers, expecting to qualify for the Owen Hart Cup for the men's and the women's. So the tournament is looking good so far, which we'll get to that in a second. But the first match of Dynamite was Adam Cole versus Christian Cage, which was a pretty good match. And then in the final moments, Christian countered the boom into the spear for the near fall. And then looking as Christian was about to finish Cole pulled Christian in the eye and then lowered the boom for the win. And then after the match, Heyman Adam Page came out, said he will defend his championship next week's Rampage against Cole in a Texas death match on Rampage, because the Rampage next week is going to be in Texas. So he recommended Cole to get his affairs in order, and you got until next week to make your decision. So when I saw the reaction on Cole's face, it's the same reaction when Heyman Adam Page did when he found out he was going to face Lance Archer in a Texas death match. So there was a kind of similarities there. So I think now Heyman Adam Page is now getting used to the Texas death match. That I don't think Cole has ever been in one before, but it's going to be very interesting for next week's Rampage, because next week's Rampage is going to be live and it's not going to be pre-taped.
True. I like a live Rampage. So just to go back to the match, I think the match itself was good. I'm just gonna be honest. I've never been a Christian fan like that. I've never got excited when I see Christian on the card. But I will say this: once the match starts, it's always a pretty good match when Christian is in the ring, and this was no different. It was a pretty good match. And I like the kind of mix of styles. You know, Cage being the veteran of the two, even though Cole been doing it for 13 years, Cage still the veteran of the two. And I think it kind of told that story of, this wildly kind of Adam Cole who kind of always find a way to win. He had to cheat to win, but he still won. And I think at the post-match thing that happened with Page and Cole, Page had that one good line of get your affairs in order. And I believe that can be a great catchphrase for Page if they try to work it in. But I really do think that could be a really good catchphrase for that character. Get your affairs in order. I think it's really dope. So I hope they see the opportunity they got with that catchphrase, put it on a shirt, have him do it again. The crowd will chant it and say it with them. I feel like that's very similar to the rest in peace type deal. So I hope they capitalize on that potential catchphrase.
Yeah, and we'll see. And yeah, we all know that that match is definitely going to be official, but they're just trying to build it up and say like, oh, Adam Cole is just waiting on for his decision. So I think we're going to get that decision that pretty soon rather than later, because that definitely is a money match, not only for AEW but for Rampage itself, especially when it's going to be live next week.
Oh,
and,
facts. That's going to be a good match.
Exactly. So I was expecting it to be at Battle of the Belts, but Rampage is good, especially when it's in Texas. It makes sense to do a Texas death match in Texas, so they kind of make sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right, and then we had a video package recapping Jay Lethal's attack on Jonathan the Aggressive at Supercard of Honor, and then of course Samoa Joe coming in to help out. In case y'all didn't know, Samoa Joe was a mentor to Jay Lethal when he was coming up in the wrestling business. So y'all saw that stare. If y'all saw the Supercard of Honor, y'all saw that stare down. You know what I mean. So, Owen Hart Foundation tournament qualifier: Samoa Joe versus Matt Caster. And I was waiting to see what Matt Caster will say in his rap. And one of the things he mentioned was Samoa Joe's time in WWE. So that and then there was a sign in the crowd say, hey, yo, listen, Joe's gonna kill you. And I love that, and I like that sign. I'm like, oh, and then right before you know it, Caster tried to get in Joe's face, but then Joe responded and then beat his butt down. And then in the final moments of the match, Joe used the Muscle Buster, which was originally banned for WWE. I think when Joe used the Muscle Buster on Tyson Kidd, and then that's where it got the move banned. But it was not his fault. Things get happen in wrestling, so it was not the move itself. It was just how it was executed and how it was landed. So you know how that is. So
and the thing is, like, if you know, these guys are pros, so if he hurts someone with his move, he'll make adjustments to make sure he has to do it. You know.
Yeah, exactly. So so after the win and after the match, Jay Lethal and Sanjay did not interrupt backstage. Lethal said they changed their outlook last week. Lethal said he tried to call Joe for months, but Joe wouldn't answer. Apparently, Joe only answers for billionaires. Lethal said that next week, he's going to give Joe a massive present. That's going to be very interesting. But with Samoa and Joe qualifying for the Owen Hart the tournament, I mean, the possibility is endless for who else is going to be joining the tournament. Bryan Danielson could be joining. Jon Moxley could be joining. Heck, CM Punk could be joining. Who knows? Who knows?
I mean, honestly, I think a lot of wrestlers will want a shot at being the first ever Owen Hart Cup winner. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Owen Hart is a lot of wrestlers' favorite wrestler. So to be able to have that for the first time, I think a lot of people might want to get that.
But I think the real question is, what are the winners get out of this tournament? Are they going to get a trophy, or are they going to be number one contenders for the world title?
I think they get the cup, the Owen Cup.
Yeah, they gotta get something. They gotta get.
But I do want to say it was great to see Samoa Joe back on TV doing what he loved. And if you look closely at that replay, you can see him just smiling from ear to ear, tearing up Max Caster's chest and throwing him around the ring. Joe looked to be in his element and happier than ever. So that's always the good thing when these guys come to AEW and the fans show them love, and they get a chance to wrestle the match they want to wrestle. You see happiness in their face. And at the end of the day, these guys give their bodies, they break down their bodies for our entertainment. So when you see them enjoying themselves, that's always a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Blackpool Combat Club were backstage. Bryan Danielson will face Trent Beretta, and Jon Moxley will face Wheeler Yuta on Rampage. Moxley said it would sound like bones cracking, like thunder and raining blood. So Wheeler Yuta faced Bryan Danielson at the time, and he got Bryan Danielson respect. Now it's up to Wheeler Yuta to gain respect for Jon Moxley.
I like this story that they're doing. Also, congratulations to Wheeler Yuta for winning his belt at the Supercard. Also about the Supercard, man, AEW really cleaned up that night. But I like the story that they're telling. I want to know who's going to be the next person. Also, I know they had mentioned like Lee Moriarty, like when Daniel Bryanson and Jon Moxley was still forming all of this about some of the people they can do. But it looks like Khan has big plans for Lee in the Ring of Honor scene, kind of making him one of the top leaders, the top guys there. So interesting to see how that's going to unfold. But I believe Wheeler Yuta will be coming over to that Combat Club I think they're just going to prolong it out even more.
Yeah, they kind of teased that, and we'll get to that in a second. And there was still a lot of Wardlow posters around the ring warning about his presence around.
Great.
Yeah. So MJF joins commentary for the Shawn Dean versus Shawn Spears matchup. So in the final moments, Wardlow appeared backstage, manhandling more security as he continued to take out the security on the way to the ring. Wardlow was eventually overpowered, but his distraction was enough for Shawn D to roll up Spears up for the win. And you go Shawn, and then of course Shawn Spears MJF was fed up, and then Wardlow was escorted out, smiling at the end. So Wardlow, man, they're making him like the Goldberg back in WCW. Like you get it when you know how in WCW they always chant Goldberg, Goldberg. That's the same thing they do.
Wardlow.
Exactly. That's what they're doing, because we always say AEW they always build up for the future, and Wardlow is definitely going to be he's definitely going to be a world champion one day, and they're definitely build him up as the AEW's version of Goldberg from WCW.
I mean, why not? Fans are behind Wardlow. They want to see him get their hands on MJF. And we know with MJF, it's always going to be a little bit time before that match happens. But once it happens, definitely going to be satisfying.
Bro, just imagine how popped the crowd going to be when Wardlow does the powerbomb Symphony to MJF. Whoa. The crowd.
Oh boy. That's gonna be, yeah, because no one likes MJF. We love him and hate him at the exact same time.
Exactly. So, and like I predicted, the MJF versus Wardlow is probably gonna happen at Double or Nothing down the road.
Yeah. But I do like this story of keeping Wardlow off TV and keeping Wardlow out and him coming in. He always gets to those big bodyguards and can't get past those guys. But I like the story that they're doing here. Great for Shawn Dean to get a win over Shawn Spears. Yeah. Shawn Spears, man, I was thinking about him the other day. I was like, it's not one point where he's been truly solo, because he had my man's with him before. Tully. He had Tully with him before. So he never been like really just kind of on his own, you know. But I think he's such a good talent. I just don't know why maybe he doesn't have the inspiration, like the motivation to kind of be like a top guy. I know he's a little older, but he's always good in the ring, and he has a good look. I always wonder. I mean, I think Jim Ross said he's just one push from being great.
Yeah, absolutely. And well, we can't wait to see how this story unfolds MJF and Shawn Spears cut a promo earlier, but we'll get that to the second. But best friends were backstage. Chuck Taylor talked about everything that he's did for Utah, and he said they could do it together. But Trent said he thinks Utah is a scumbag traitor, and he's going to show everyone on Rampage when he goes against Bryan Danielson. So they show a video earlier that with Eddie Kingston, Santana Ortiz beating down the Jericho Appreciation Society backstage. Kingston tossed the backstage monitor at them, but they were able to escape in their car. And then Kingston, Santana Ortiz go head out back to the ring with Mike. Kingston said it was on site on Jericho's crew for now. Santana said the Jericho Society better bring the fight, and Ortiz challenged them to a 6-man tag for next week's Dynamite. Kingston said they'll beat them Butch Red Junkyard Dog style.
I think we're in for some excitement.
Oh yeah, I did not expect that we're gonna get this match early.
This promo was less like a wrestling promo than a straight up just street call out. You know, like Jim Ross said, that was old school. But yeah, this I don't know how I feel about like because like the JAS is like kind of like 5 versus 3. So I was hoping they kind of evened out a little bit, but it is what it is. And I guess it's gonna be a 6-man, but there's always gonna be those extra 2 guys in JAS. So
Yeah, I knew it's going to be a trio match sooner rather than later, but I didn't know we are going to get that early. So that's going to be very interesting. And we had a video package recapping Hood's trimming off Dan Hensey's purse. So I don't know, that could be a thing with Hook and Dan Hensey doing another segment, but we'll see how that one goes. Jay Cargill and Mark Sterling came out. Jay introduced her new baddie section out in the audience. Sterling said Marlon Shore wasn't allowed in the baddie section. And Jay said she was tired of all these MMA people entering wrestling. Sure, maybe a problem, but Jay is a problem solver. So I'm loving how Jay is progressing. I know I call her Jay Berger at times, but she's definitely progressing. So but like I said before, I don't think Jay should be trusting Mark Sterling too much, because I feel like he's gonna be the one that's gonna have her have her first defeat by someone. I don't know who it's gonna be.
maybe, but I think you know me, I'm a big fan of Jay. She came out looking like $1,000,000, like she always do. It was only 3 of those girls that was really baddies. The rest of them wasn't. But I mean, it was Boston, so what can you do? But I mean, the baddie session got to do something. We just can't keep putting the camera just on like 5 chicks. Like the baddie section needs to be different. You know what I mean? Like it needs to be a VIP section. Like where's the red rope? You know what I'm saying? Where's the red rope? Champagne. I feel like we need to take it up a notch, just not front row at a wrestling show. But I like where they're going with it, so I want to see that grow some more. But yeah, Jay promos are getting better. She's about to put her belt up on the line at the Battle of the Belts. And then yeah, Jade is always, you know, she's money. Look at her with the green. She's money, man. No matter where she's at, she's money.
Do you see Jade entering the Owen Hart Cup?
Nah, I think because she's a champ. Like, why would you enter it if she's a champ? I think the Owen Hart Cup is going to be more for like technical kind of pure wrestling type people.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see about that. And MJF and Shawn Spears were backstage. MJF said there will be twice as many guards next week for Wardlow before Shawn Spears challenging Sean Dean to a match. He said he's injured Dean worse than he could ever in combat. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But the Hardys versus Butcher and the Blade in a tables match. Unfortunately, the rules wasn't kind of established, because we wanted to know if this was an elimination match or if one person would put through a table and that will win. So that kind of got a little bit confusing on that part. But I was expecting this match to be similar to the Hardys versus the Dudleys tables match back in at the Royal Rumble 2000. That's what I was expecting that to be as. But in the final moments of the tables match, Jeff put out a ladder under the ring, climb it, and put Butcher through two tables for the Swanton, even though Jeff was eliminated. So it didn't make it it made sense in the rules, but the Hardys did win the tables match. So after the match, the ASFO walked out to the ring, but they were interrupted by Sting and Darby Allin. Andrade used the bunny as a shield from stopping Sting from attacking. So, like I mentioned before, we are going to get the Andrade family against the Hardys, Sting, and Darby Allin at Double or Nothing. That's the way I see it.
Yeah. like I said, I'm over this Andrade and Hardy's kind of rivalry. I wasn't sure why that happened with Jeff, like going down and he's getting the win. The rules was kind of confusing. I feel like Matt sometimes his segments are a little confusing, or they're just not thought out too much. I think he thinks that wrestling fans are gonna think too much about it, but it's one of those things. The match was still pretty good. Always cool seeing Jeff, jump off a ladder onto a table. But I feel like now we need to put them in a real rivalry with a real team who wants to just prove that they're better. And I know they're going to end up getting there, but I'm ready for Andrade to leave all these guys and just be by himself. Me personally, but I mean, we'll see how it goes. I don't see Andrade and Private Party, doing a lot of cool matches together. You know what I mean? Like I'm ready for them to Andrade to be by himself a little bit more.
Yeah, well, we'll see how that goes. But Christian Cage was backstage with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. Christian was frustrated, chucked his water bottle and stirred him off. Jungle Boy refocused and said, Red Dragon hasn't earned a championship match, but since they keep getting involved in their business, they challenged them to a match next week on Dynamite.
Thanks.
Then a video package hype up Thunder Rosa and Nyla Rose feud. They will fight for the women's championship at Battle of the Bells on April 17th, which is next Saturday.
I'm excited for that match. I like Nyla and I like Thunder. I like how they work together.
Yeah. And then we had an interview backstage with Jamie Hayter and Toni Storm as the first two entrants of the women's ROH Cup tournament on the women's side. Hayter said she hopes that they'll face each other and so down the road in the tournament.
I ain't gonna lie, not a fan of Toni Storm so far. I'm not familiar with her work, so only thing I'm going off of is her AEW work, and her promos kind of lackluster. Jamie actually looked better in that promo spot than Toni did.
Yeah, and then another Owen Hart Foundation tournament qualifier with a Cardoshita versus Julia Hart, and I was surprised that Julia Hart she
we got something to talk about here because she's doing some heel type stuff.
Yeah, and I know she's been on Dark recently, and she's been doing great lately. So that was kind of interesting, and she even sent the Varsity Blondes the back
right
to the back, and
did you notice that the black under her eye patch is starting to spread?
Yeah, and
storytelling there.
I'm just waiting for her to join the House of Black. Okay. So
like that might happen. I was just thinking about the House of Black. I was like, dang, Buddy Buffy premiered and they ain't been on TV since that pay-per-view.
Yeah. But I think one of them might enter the Owen Hart Cup. Well, we'll see how that goes. But in case y'all didn't know, with the Varsity Blondes, their father, Brian Pillman, had some history with Owen Hart. In case y'all didn't know, in WWE, that there was a part of not the original Hart Foundation, but like when they had Bret Hart, Jinder Mahal, the Neidhart, Owen Hart in there, and then of course Brian Pillman when there was kind of like an actual faction. So there was so there was some connections there. So in the final moments of the match, when after they come back from a commercial, Sheeta came back with a hammer fist and a virtual suplex. She followed up with an outside suplex for the two. Hart Gugger Sheeta at the eyes and hit a bulldog for the two. Sheeta avoided a top rope dive and came back with an elbow smash and the shimmy, the Falcon Arrow for the win. And then after the match, Serena Deeb's music played. She tried to attack Sheeta from behind with a chair, but Sheeta had it scouted her with the candlestick, and then Deeb out of the ring to retreat rather than face a fair fight. So I surely expect Serena D to qualify, and then we'll see those two fight down the road in the tournament.
Definitely, I think there's going to be Deeb and Sheeta for the finals, which that will be a great final match in this qualifier. I think maybe Toni Storm versus Ruby Riott might be a good one as well. Yeah, if they work those together, I think they might have like similar styles and it may work well. But yeah, definitely, I think Sheeta and Serena in the finals. That's what I'm hoping for, at least, or at least fight. I don't know, at least one match together during this thing.
Yeah, and then Swerve Strickland was backstage. He talked about when he was there at the Grammys, and he said he'll never forget his issues with Ricky Starks. But for now, he got some stuff to do. And then Starks and Power Hart follow him and attack him, but Keith Lee show up to intervene, which led to Lee pounding Hobbs through the wall. Like, ooh, and then everybody on the other side was like, "Hey, what's going on here?" I'm like, "Oh snap!" Oh snap!
Yeah, this is a pretty crazy situation that's going on as well.
Yeah, that was really crazy. And so for tonight's Rampage, we see John Moxley versus Lee Utah, Bryan Danielson versus Trent Beretta, another Owen Hart qualifying match with Red Velvet, and then Ring of Honor's Willow Nightingale, and then Sir Strickland versus QT Marshall. That don't make sense at all. But next week's Dynamite, we have Eddie Kingston, Santana Ortiz versus the Jericho Appreciation Society. And then we have the AEW World Tag Team Championships with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus against Red Dragon, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish. And then next week's Rampage is confirmed with the AEW World Championship with Heyman Adam Page versus Adam Cole in the Texas Death Match. And then next Saturday, Battle of the Belts with AEW Women's World Championship, Thunder Rosa versus Nyla Rose.
Sounds like a good card they have there.
Oh yeah, a lot of dates happening in the next couple of shows. But main event time, FTR versus the Young Bucks 2 for the AAA and ROH Tag Team Championships. Now, this match came about when after the FTR versus the Briscoes match at the Supercard of Honor, the Young Bucks attacked the Briscoes, and then FTR came back to help the save. And then Tony Khan mentioned before the main event of that show that the FTR will face the Young Bucks for not only the AAA and for the ROH Tag Team Championships. So as expected, this is definitely one of AEW's best matches of the year. It was so awesome. And I think it was better when they first met at Full Gear 2020.
This match was definitely a good one. I was looking forward to this match. Yeah, was it better than the other one? Not sure. But still a really good match. And also, what a great, week FTR is having. I mean, they beat the Briscoes, they beat the Bucks. And if you want to prove that you're the greatest tag team in the world, I mean, those are two teams you definitely want to beat, back to back to prove that statement. So definitely happy to see that FTR got their one up on the Bucks. The rubber match, we'll see what happens there. But I think we're going to see a long counter for these teams over their wrestling career. I think by the end of it, it may be Young Bucks, 15, FTR 16, maybe, So I think this is a long one that they're probably going to go through different companies with and It's one of those rivalries that is going to make money regardless of who, no matter where they're at. But yeah, this is definitely a great match. The Bucks always, put on really good matches. FTR always put on really good matches. They're so quick. You know what I'm saying? Cash seemed to be a little fired up that night. Dax seemed to be a little more fired up that night. But first off, the match with the Briscoes was great as well. You know what I mean? What you think about that match?
Yeah, that's definitely a banger. And then I'm loving FTR as a babyface. They're definitely getting over, even though you see them as a heel team back in the day, but now they are really progressing as a babyface team. And there was even a sign says FTR, the best there was, and the best there ever will be. I thought that was close of a teaser that Bret Hart might be coming in and manage the FTR. So
they have been teasing a lot. I mean, at the press briefing with FTR, Dash was wearing a Bret Hart shirt. Dax was wearing a Bret Hart shirt. So definitely they've been teasing it like a mother. They had the pink in the background, that one. Bucks had said it. We've seen pictures of Bret Hart get into shape and everything. So I think definitely, man, if I could see Bret Hart on TV every Wednesday with FTR, man, that'd be great, to be honest. Like, we see Sting and Bret Hart and CM Punk and Chris Jericho like on our TV every week. I'm sorry, man. That's pretty baller. And Samoa Joe, Jesus Christ. Their roster is just so stacked, man. I'm so happy that he has Ring of Honor now, because I think it's going to be a great secondary place for a lot of this talent to work. And now he has more belts. You know what I mean? Like, now he can have, House of Black be the ROH tag team champions and have his AEW tag team champions. You know what I mean? So at one point, Penta and Ray can be AEW champs again versus whoever it's just so many possibilities now. The Ring of Honor belt versus the AEW belt, those type of championship matches. There's just a lot of possibilities that he can play with to make both brands just bigger and better. I think now where AEW and where Tony Khan is, like, it's not more about being better than WWE or just trying to like tap into their market, but it is trying to carve out a piece of that pie. They have a very large pie in the marketplace. So it is about just trying to carve out a piece for you where your business is sustainable. And I think their business is sustainable. I think they're putting on a really good product. I think WWE is getting better because of AEW. I think they see the success and they can't ignore it. So they got to say, well, what are some of the things they're doing? And now they got Cody. By the way, hashtag FCR has been my hashtag on my Facebook recently. But yeah, hashtag FCR. But now they got Cody, so they're going to get better for it. And it's all because of AEW. So AEW, I think, is the best thing to happen to the wrestling business in a very long time.
Yeah, most definitely. And then the future is endless. And then in the final moments of that match, the Bucks set up for the BET trigger and nailed it on Cash, but Cash's foot fell onto the ropes at the official count of 3. The bell rung, but the official restarted the match. And then the Bucks set up for the Melter driver, but Dash interrupted, and FTR hit the slingshot powerbomb tombstone combination. FTR then hit the BTE trigger, gave Matt a kiss, and then nailed the big rig for the win. So back to what you said, that where there might be a rubber match, that kind of proves it there when said that the Bucks had the win. They thought they won the match, but the referee saw the 3 count there. That kind of teased that we might get a rubber match soon. I don't know how long it's going to be, but it's probably going to happen somewhere down the line on there. But yeah, that was definitely a great main event to cap out the show. And then of course, like I mentioned before with ROH, if they do a pay-per-view, just like NXT 1.0 do like for their takeovers between the SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and Royal Rumble. If they do that, they should be good as far as going forward with the pay-per-views and everything. But I now it's just trying to get ROH back with the TV deals. We mentioned before with HBO Max being with the deal, the center of the deal, and it's just a matter of how everything is going to progress and everything. And like I mentioned before, we are getting Ring of Honor talents to be qualified or to qualify in the Owen Hart Cup tournament. So those possibilities in the air, not only for the women's and the men's as well. So it's going to be very interesting in the next couple of weeks, and also leading up to the Double or Nothing in May.
Sir, I think this is a really good episode of Dynamite. Definitely Bucks versus FTR was the match of the night. Also, the Bucks put on a really good match with Top Flight recently on Dark. I would suggest everyone go check that out. Really exciting, entertaining match. But yeah, I'm looking forward to what's coming next. I'm really excited about this Ring of Honor merger. I mean, this Ring of Honor acquisition. Supercard was great, and now we're hearing that more ROH guys are going to be working with AEW, and AEW working over there. Just a bigger platform now. So this is definitely good news. I'm excited to see what comes next.
Yeah, most definitely, and we just cannot wait. And so that's our episode for today. We will be back with y'all tomorrow to review the results for Rampage.
That is right. Rampage about to be lit. Let's get it.
Yeah, and but until then, he is Leland, and I'm Trico, and we're signing off.
Peace.